So we can start applying this to Atwood and say, okay, where does this appear in the text? And I'll just run through a number of examples here, and just you can go back and look at these examples if you want. So on reference and words, from nowhere a word appears, Mesozoic. He can see the word, he can hear the word, but he can't reach the word. He can't attach anything to it. This is happening too much lately, this dissolution of meaning, the entries on his cherished word lists drifting off into space. So notice this is the moment at which the signifier, the word, becomes detached from the signified. It says he can't attach anything to it. So we have words, we have all these words, but they don't relate to anything. And so in the post-apocalyptic world that Jimmy inhabits, a lot of these words have lost their reference, their signifieds. They don't attach to anything anymore. So what do we do with those words? Does anybody remember jute? Of course not. It's dead and gone. So what does jute mean to us now at this point? On pornography, it reads, if you switch back and forth, it all came to look like the same event, that all images are the same. The pornography is repetitive. See the same thing over and over and over again. And I say, yeah, but they vary their positions and they do different. Yes, they do, but it's all pretty much the same. There's a repertoire of, I don't know, count them, 5, 10, 15, 20 things, but it's the same 5, 10, 15, 20 things over and over and over and over again. Okay? There's nothing new or inventive at all. And if it is new and inventive, it's just new and inventive on the same old thing over and over and over again. Okay? Again, on pornography, he didn't seem to be affected by anything he saw, one way or the other, except when he thought it was funny. That Jimmy and Crake, they watched their pornography, and there's no real or authentic experience of love or intimacy or whatever, sexuality, whatever you want to call it. It's just images on a screen. It's fulfilling a specific purpose, I suppose, but it's not the real thing. Okay? It's a stand-in for what might be real, but pornography is not like that. Okay? The real world is not like that. Okay? Then we get this question of reproduction. Jimmy was quite old before he realized what this word meant, that for each reproduction item, there was supposed to be an original somewhere, or there had been once, or something. Okay. So when we talk about reproduction in the sense of products being mass-produced and reproduction of products, and if we look at a painting, is that a real Van Gogh? No, it's a reproduction of Van Gogh. And it's like, okay, well, there's original somewhere. So Baudrillard's, in the background here saying, we have the original Van Gogh, but it's not a real Van Gogh. It's a reproduction of. Well, close enough. Yeah, kind of, sort of, but it's not the real thing. Okay. So on the Quakers and representations, they'd struggled with pictures at first. Flowers on beach trash lotion bottles, fruits on juice cans. Is it real? No, it's not real. What is this not real? Not real can tell us about real, and so forth. But now they appear to have grasped the concept. What's interesting, I think, about that passage is that the Quakers actually do it in reverse. They say, what does the not real tell us about the real? That they're trying to access the real world through representations, because that's all they have. They never experienced the fruits on the can because they've been decimated in the apocalyptic world, right? The fruits are gone. So they're like, what does the not real tell us about the real? Oh, well, once in the time before, this was a thing. But now all we have is the representation of the thing. So notice how this is, the fourth stage of Baudrillard, is that the real thing doesn't exist anymore. There is no reality. Or if there is, it's lost in history, and all we have are images that are left behind. And so this is their introduction to the real world, but they will never experience these things. They will only ever experience the representations. Okay? So there's literally, you know, dozens, if not hundreds of examples of how this plays out in the text. So taking these ideas of images and representations and the simulacrum, you know, you can reread through this book, you know, just leaf around and see the moments at which Atwood is toying with this idea of how do we understand our relationship of our real physical embodied selves interacting in the real physical world. How does that line up with our experience of various media, whether that's TV, movies, internet, whatever, you know, the heavily mediated world of images and representations. And this is, again, inviting us to think about this dialogue between the real and the image.